From 1953 to 1987, the public water supply at Camp Lejeune Marine Corps Base in North Carolina was contaminated with toxic chemicals. So for 34 years, more than 1 million soldiers and their families drank, bathed, and washed their clothes in contaminated water that's now causing them terrible, terrible health problems. Thousands of Marines and their families have suffered severe, debilitating illnesses and have died. There is strong scientific evidence that chronic exposure to the toxic chemicals at Camp Lejeune in the water has caused increased rates of cancer and has caused injuries to children in utero. A new federal law, the Pact Act of 2022, was just signed into law by President Biden. This new law provides sweeping benefits for veterans and will allow victims of Camp Lejeune water contamination to seek legal compensation. The act will permit people who lived or worked or were harmed as unborn children at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 to file a toxic water lawsuit in U.S. Federal District Court in eastern North Carolina. Victims will have a 2-year window and deadline to file a claim, so time is ticking.
When life gets ugly, justice is lovely, the lovely law firm.
Hey guys, it's Rainey Romero with the Lovely Law Firm here today for another Carolina Justice Report. We're super excited today. We're chatting with attorneys Sarah Austin and Justin Lovely once more, and we're chatting all about personal injuries involving children. So Justin and Sarah, we're talking about children. I assume that this comes up a lot because usually when we're talking about cases, we're kind of referring mainly to adults. So when it comes to children, do they have kind of a whole different set of rules?
Yeah, so we represent families, right? So a lot of times if you're involved in an auto accident, you have your kids in the back seat, right? So if you get rear-ended, you're going to have a claim, but your kids in the back, they may also have a claim. And so obviously we have to represent the children in their own separate claim in your lawsuit, and it's got different sets of rules, depending on what kind of case they have.
I guess I always assumed when there was like a car accident, it was kind of like one claim, one case for everybody. So really, each individual person gets their own, and the parent files each of those, right?
Right. So if there's damages, there's going to be an individual claim, okay, subject to the available policy limits for the at-fault insurance policy.
And then, in the horrible situation that parent dies or something, then who files it for the kids?
Yeah, so we would have to, we hate those kind of cases.
Right.
But in that case, we have to do some probate work. There'll be, a personal representative of an estate of the parent.
Gotcha.
And they will step into the role to, prosecute the child's claim.
Okay. Well, I know that, so there's some different things here. So it depends on if the child is in the front seat versus the back seat, and there's different kind of ways that you handle each of those. First of all, what kind of is considered a child? Is that under 18 or what?
Yeah. So any kind of minor in South Carolina, it's going to be a minor claim, okay? And then there's going to be different sets of rules signed up. So, if when somebody calls the Lovely Law Firm, the first thing that we do, we try to figure out who's the custodial parent, okay? If there's any kind of like child custody issues or anything like that, because they're going to have to be appointed as the personal, the guardian ad litem of their child, okay? And they will basically step into the shoes of the child and prosecute their claim, okay? So we'll get the judge to approve that parent to serve that role. If there's an argument about it, sometimes there might be a divorce going on or some other kind of issue going on, or maybe their
grandparents.
Grandparents could be involved. So we would sometimes we have to get an attorney involved, a unbiased attorney, third party, just to step in and be that guardian role to prosecute the claim.
Okay. Do we also handle kind of like car seat failures and stuff like that when it comes to accidents?
So yeah, when we're talking about car wrecks, you have your soft tissue cases, and with children it's real hard because doctors don't want to give them X-rays especially if they're young, right? And it's hard for a child to articulate what their injuries are. If you and I get in a wreck and our neck's hurting, our back's hurting, we know exactly what to tell the doctor. If you have a 2-year-old who can't talk or is nonverbal, I mean that's hard to figure out.
They're just crying and not sleeping.
Yeah.
And those sometimes are the symptoms of injuries.
Terrible. Yeah.
Right. So we have to deal with those issues. So that's a problem. But also, that's in the car wreck sense. So
Right.
we're talking also in like a product liability sense. This is kind of getting off topic from what
Sure.
we're talking about, but we don't want our kids in the back seat of these chairback cases. We were fortunate enough to bring one of those, and for an adult, it causes big problems. But for children in the back seat that might be in in a car seat, if the chairback falls and hits the child, you're going to have big damages. I mean, sometimes the children can pass away. Sometimes it can paralyze the child because that whole force of the wreck is getting transferred through the parent's body, through that seat, back onto the child. So those
I've
are
never
very
heard of that. I didn't even know that was
catastrophic
a
claims.
thing.
Yeah, I know that we brought one before, and I don't know if we've ever actually explained what a chairback case
Right.
is. Justin probably explains it.
Well, it's
better.
just, so you have car manufacturers, okay?
Right.
This is kind of getting off topic from children, but
That's okay.
a chairback case is, you have, we examine any kind of catastrophic injury case for a potential third-party sources of recovery. And what I mean by that is, if you get hit by an at-fault driver, $25,000 minimum policy limits, but you have catastrophic injuries, well, what's that going to do? It's going to do
Right.
nothing for you. So what the Lovely Law Firm investigation team does is we go out and we look for, was there tire tread failure? Was there a roof crush? Was there a seat back failure?
Gotcha.
Different product liability cases that we could pursue against the manufacturers of these automobiles.
Okay.
So so to answer your question, going back to what is a seat back failure? These seat backs are manufactured by usually overseas. They're assembled, if they're assembled here, wherever the manufacturer does, but they put them all together. They put these back onto the roadway, right? And there's several tests. 60 Minutes have done videos and investigations about this. But there's such a low standard to meet to get these things put into these vehicles that at low speed, your seat should never fail, right? You should be
Right.
held in place. Your occupant should be held in place. There should not be any catastrophic injury on low speed crashes. But what happens is the little hinges in the seat backs are made so cheaply to save money for these automobile manufacturers that these low speed crashes create catastrophic injury when the seat back fails. And again, all that pressure is being absorbed through the body, breaking the seat back, going to the back seat. So if your children are in the back seat, that's bad news.
Yeah.
Okay. It's bad news for you too, because you lose your seatbelt. Okay.
Right.
And you're getting flown through the car. I mean, it can create these catastrophic injuries that we
terrible.
investigate.
That's terrible. Well, and then, going through the process, they have unfortunately been in the car accident and they go to kind of file things. Does the insurance kind of handle children differently than they would an adult?
Well, again, they're going to look at, say, hey, what are the damages? Okay. And so that's where we go back and we say, hey, is your child able to go to the doctor? Are they getting treatment? Are they able to articulate what the injuries
Gotcha.
are? Is that being diagnosed by their pediatrician? See, a lot of times they'll say, they'll come in and we know they're hurt, right? But they'll say, hey, they'll tell Sarah, hey, my children's fine. Now, when Sarah reports that to me, I say, no. They need to get into the pediatrician, get a second opinion, and let's make sure these kids are okay.
Yeah.
Because we have to, in order to get full value for the child's claim, they have to have treatment, have to have damages.
Well, and thank God you asked them to do that because, we want to make sure these kids are okay too. And we may not know, right off the bat like that. So.
Absolutely. And if you settle the claim, it's over, it's done.
Yeah. So would you say that it's kind of difficult when you're dealing with children with these cases? Is it kind of a harder case to work?
It's not difficult, but it's different. There's a different approach from the beginning, and then settlement or filing a lawsuit is very different just because of the legal requirements
Gotcha.
for minors. So we can't settle a case with a minor. If it's less than $2,500, we can just give the money to the parents. But if the child is going to net more than $2,500, that settlement always has to be approved by the court, which makes things take longer. You have the parents' claim already wrapped up and paid, and then they're waiting. We're waiting on a court date, waiting to get in front of a judge. We have to do all those things like have someone appointed a guardian ad litem, like Justin talked about. And then there's different thresholds for what we can even do. So if the child's netting more than $2,500 but less than $15,000, we can still ask the court to give all that money to the parent as guardian ad litem to hold for the child until they're 18. But if the child is going to net more than $15,000, that's when the court will require that we get a conservator appointed, which is a lot more difficult and has to go through the probate court. Or
and a
we
conservator is what, really?
A conservator it's a probate court term. It's like they would do the same thing as the guardian ad litem would, which is hold it until they are the kid is 18 years old. But there's a lot more requirements.
Gotcha.
And you've got to put it into a restricted account with the bank and go through the probate court, which is just a process. Sometimes they'll require you to submit a credit report just to make sure that you're financially sound and stable and that you're really going to hold this money until they're 18.
Yeah.
Because there are legal consequences, right? If you go out, if you're a mom and you go out to Las Vegas and spend all your kid's money, then your kid can come after you later and say, my mom spent my settlement money on vacation.
Wow.
So the court wants to prevent that. And so they put in all these restrictions and requirements to just try to ensure that that won't happen.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, I mean, just for folks who don't know, what would make that different as far as how much they got back, if it was $2,500 or more or less? What is that? Depends on how catastrophic their injuries are? Or does that matter on their insurance, or kind of everything?
Everything. It matters on their injuries, right? What their claim is worth, and then always we're taking into account how much insurance there is, how much money there is to get. But it is that net amount at the end. After all the fees and medical bills and everything's paid, what is that child actually going to take home in their pocket?
Yeah.
That's where the thresholds.
Interesting. And folks, of course, we want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube and watch all of the videos. We have so many more on this topic and more. But moving back into this, how is this different for things like they're injured at the playground, they're injured, doing other things outside of car accidents? How do we handle?
Yeah, so just like adults are injured, doing everyday things like a slip and fall at a hotel, I mean, children get injured as well. And,
right.
The cases that we see in our office, we see some daycare injuries. We see some playground at schools or playground at these daycare injuries like that. And what's different about that is, South Carolina has an agency, DHEC, that will do a report and see, what was going on there. Was there some kind of other negligent act by the daycare or by the child care provider? Was there some kind of negligent design of this playground equipment? We've had cases like that. And so that's when we can rely on sending our Freedom of Information Act request and get all that information back from DHEC and say, hey, was there a pattern of these kind of issues at this daycare? Throwing that out there, a lot of these daycares with COVID, they were understaffed.
Right.
And so but everybody had to go back to work. And so they got to bring their kids. And if they're not watching them, if they're on the playground, bad things can happen and kids can get hurt.
Right.
So sometimes DHEC investigations will reveal a pattern of understaffing. And then we could pursue punitive damages. Okay. And you've heard us talk about that in other episodes, but that's meant to punish and deter this kind of conduct, because the kids are who we need to protect most of all in society, right? And so, and a lot of these are just, it should never happen, right? If they're just watching these kids and taking care of them, they're not going to get hurt on the playground. They're not going to get hurt at daycare. They're not going to get.
It's a lot of negligence.
So that's a little different. We still have to, just like we would a car wreck, we still got to go get treatment. We still got to do our investigation. We still got to, work everything up to get to the finish line. But with those kind of cases, there are a couple more issues that we would examine.
Okay. And we were kind of all chatting prior to rolling and about just a lot of cases, or questions I should say, that we get about bullying and people trying to file claims about bullying. Tell me a little bit about kind of the calls you get about that.
So we get a lot of calls about that, and of course, we're the first to stand up for somebody being bullied. Okay, that's what we always stand by. My wife and partner Amy, that's like her passion.
Yeah.
But what parents need to realize is, this world is tough, okay, and not all of these cases are viable. Of course, and that's a tough conversation, because when somebody hurts your kids, you want to.
Yeah.
I got kids. I know exactly how you feel. You're ready to go fight for you. So they call us, and we'll talk to you. And sometimes that's our role. We have to be a therapist as well as a lawyer sometimes. But,
right.
Unless there's something catastrophic, it's not going to be a case.
Unless the school is on notice.
Absolutely.
Which is difficult. A notice is always difficult to prove.
What does that mean if they're on notice?
That they knew that there was bullying or threats against a particular child, or they knew that they should have known that this catastrophic bullying incident was about to happen.
Gotcha.
Then they're on notice.
But really, that doesn't happen until the child is injured or something like that, right?
Usually, it doesn't happen until the child is injured, and that will be the first time that it happens. But notice is just difficult to prove.
Yeah.
But if it's there, then.
Right.
So what would be kind of your recommendation for parents that call that are being bullied? Do you tell them to go to the police or to the school, or what do you kind of tell them?
Yeah, well, the first thing we always tell them, of course, is to go up the chain of command within the school.
Okay.
And then a lot of times they'll do that, the problem gets resolved. Okay?
Gotcha.
The reason they're calling us is they may call their teacher, internally, or a lot of times there's these apps now that they're using to communicate with their classrooms. because everything kind of went virtual because of COVID again. I blame everything on COVID. But they'll use these apps to communicate. They're not getting the answer that they want, or it's getting lost in translation, right? And then that's when they start raising hell and wanting to talk to a lawyer. And that's when we get those phone calls. And then we say, hey, look, call the school resource officer, call the vice principal, call the principal, go up the chain of command. Usually that will get taken care of. And then we recommend, if that's not getting it solved, go up to the school board and see where that can get you. But as far as filing a lawsuit that would be viable in court, would be worth the expense, very few would qualify.
Okay. And of course, nobody wants to think about children, being injured or anything. But of course, it's helpful. The more you know, the better prepared you are to help your kids out. So that's why we kind of wanted to come on and chat about kids today. But thank you both for chatting and shedding some light on children and how to handle those cases.
No problem.
And folks, you of course can watch all of the Carolina Justice Reports. We drop a new episode every Tuesday at 2 p.m. There's tons of great information on there for you to look into, but also you can find us on any social media channel. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that you can find anything. And then we're also on our website, justiceslovely.com. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.
When life gets ugly, justice is lovely, the lovely law firm.
Hey guys, it's Rainey Romero with the Lovely Law Firm. Today we are so excited because we are at the Boys and Girls Club of the Grand Strand here in downtown Myrtle Beach. The Lovely Law Firm loves to help out our community, and so at least once a month we head out to a different nonprofit organization and we try to give some time volunteering with our team. So today, Justin Lovely, Amy Lawrence, Sarah Austin, all of our attorneys are here. We're here, we've got the team here doing lots of fun stuff all day long. You'll see lots of different things, whether it's crafts, Legos, hanging out in the gym, playing games. Right now they have their summer program going on. So we're going to meet some of the folks and see what they're doing. Let's go. Hey guys, so I'm here with Dr. Tracy Bailey, the famous one, Chief Executive Officer here at the Boys and Girls Club of the Grand Strand. How you doing, Tracy?
I'm doing fine, Rainey, but I wouldn't say famous. I would just say great.
I would say she's famous, but that's all right. So, Tracy, Dr. Bailey, I should say, give us a little bit of an overview of what you guys do here. Just, we're helping out today, obviously volunteering, but tell us a little bit about these kids.
Well, the first thing I want to say is thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us and with these children. These kids are phenomenal. They're brilliant, they're special, they're beautiful, and all of them come here to the Boys and Girls Club during the summer for our summer camp, which starts at 7:30 in the morning and runs all the way until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just to be inspired, to be enriched, and to be engaged, and it's a joy to have you help us with that today.
Well, it's a joy and an honor for us to be here. We're having a blast already. The kids are amazing. They're so fun. So, these kids, where do they come from? How do they find out about the summer program?
So a lot of the kids who participate in our summer camp were a part of our after-school program. And the majority of our children attend Myrtle Beach area schools. Okay. So a lot of the kids live in the area, but some travel all the way from Georgetown to get here because I just think we offer the best summer camp program on the Grand Strand. And there are lots of good ones here.
There are, but you do have something great going on here. And obviously, I've spoken with you in the past, and this building is somewhat of a new building, and you guys have raised a lot of funds here. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the building was completed in 2019, and I think the children really appreciate being able to come into a space that's so inviting and welcoming and colorful. But we are always welcoming donations because this building is something that it takes a lot of funds to maintain.
Absolutely. And, you know, for folks who may not know about the Boys and Girls Club and what that organization's all about, give us a little bit of a snippet of that.
So our mission here at the Boys and Girls Club is to help all of these young people become productive citizens, and we are here for the kids in our community who need us the most. So we do try to reach out to some who live in low-income communities, some who come from marginalized populations, and we just want to provide the best, most high-quality experience for them because they deserve it.
I do. I love this. I could talk to you all day. Well, it's so fun. Thank you for letting us do this today. I know this is enriching all of our lives just as much as anybody else. But, you know, if folks want to learn more about the Boys and Girls Club or if they want to get involved, what should they do?
Well, they can give us a call at 843-839-3616, or they can visit our website at bgclubgs.org.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bailey. We appreciate it, and we'll chat with you soon. So I am chatting with Darius. How's it going, Darius?
Pretty good.
So Darius is the program director, so you get to deal with this fun stuff every day, huh?
Yeah, I love it, man. Every day, kids come in full of energy. Staff come in with great energy. It's a great place to work.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've only been here one day, but our people are already like addicted. We have our favorite kids that we're attached to at the hip already. So right now, the summer camp is going on. Tell us kind of how long that lasts, how the summer camp goes.
So we actually have an 8-week summer camp this year. We started last week, June 13th, and it'll run all the way until August 5th. We're open from 7:30 to 5:30 every day, Monday through Friday.
Is the summer camp different? Like, do you do different stuff during the summer than you do during the year?
Yeah, normally during the year for after school program is more homework based and you know, we have a few activities, but in the summer it's like activities all day.
Fun all day, right?
Fun all day, literally from start to finish. Kids come in and we have stuff planned for them, different activities.
I love it. So, Darius, let's talk about you. So, how did you get here? Tell me about your journey a little bit.
Okay, so I graduated from college in 2018 from Francis Marion University. When I came back home to Myrtle Beach, I started working at Mary C. Canty Recreation Center. Started working with the kids there a little bit. Kind of saw that I had a passion for working with kids, and then Miss Judy, shout out to Miss Judy, she actually got me a job over here at the Boys and Girls Club, and by the grace of God, just been elevating up the ladder ever since.
I love it. I love it. And I love your heart is in this and you're passionate about it, which is great. What is it about kids that kind of gets you passionate about working here?
Well, part of the reason is because I started off myself in the after-school program, going to summer camps and things, and I know how much of an impact the adults that I work with coming up had on me. So I kind of just want to give back and just share that love and passion with the kids.
What is your favorite part about working here?
My favorite part about working here is definitely just the kids.
Yeah.
The kids come in full of energy, just seeing their smiling faces, getting the warm hugs every day, the hey, Mr. Darius, or just the kids really. And the staff are amazing. The staff come in, like I said before, with high energy, welcoming. We're almost like a family here.
Yeah. I love that. How long have you been here?
I've been here for 2 years. 3 years now. Yes.
Okay. And, you know, you've seen the kids kind of come and go for 2 years. What do you think that they get out of this?
Definitely, we try to impart life skills to them, behavior management, kind of just allowing them to manage themselves, whether it be emotionally, physically, academically. We're trying to teach them to be productive citizens.
Have you seen kids kind of grow through this program?
Yes, tremendously. Just an example, some of our former second graders who are now third graders, they have just improved leaps and bounds since the start of the after school program last year. They're amazing. They're more mature. They're smarter. You know, all the things we love to see.
Well, I love this. I love to see it too. So, well, thank you so much, Darius, for doing this and for your work in the community and for letting us come in and hang out today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all, we're going to get back and see what the other kids are doing. Amy, that was so much fun.
It's the best.
Now, what were you doing today?
So we did crafts, we danced, we played ball, we sang. We talked about what we want to be when we grow up. We can be all the things we want to be. We don't have to just pick one. I'll let them know. We talked about rules and why they're so important. Can't play the game if you don't know the rules, right? And all that good stuff. So we got to talk about all that. Got to love on a lot of babies. Hang out, do some crafts. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better afternoon.
Yeah, this was so much fun. Justin is somewhere around here getting beat up by dodgeball, so we'll let him do that. He can take the hit for that, right?
Right.
But
He's outnumbered.
exactly. But Amy, why is it so important for our firm to do?
You know, we're always trying to find things in our community. You know, we can always write a check, and that's great, and we do those things too. But like when you're able to go in and really get involved in the community and in programs that really reach everybody in the Myrtle Beach area, it just makes our heart so happy, and it just gives us a sense of community that we wouldn't get any other way.
Yeah. We love doing this. We try to do some sort of community initiative every month. So if you know of one that needs our help, let us know, right?
Yeah, we're all in. You let us know.
And then how can folks kind of find us?
So you can see us on YouTube. I mean, this is where it gets a little crazy. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, all the parents are like, our kids go to sleep listening to your jingle, which always makes me happy.
This happened today because one of the kids, as soon as we got here, he started singing our song. He was like, "The Lovely Law Firm," and it was great. I got a little video of it.
So cute, so cute. So hit us up. You can call our office, 843-839-4111, or hit us up on social media, and we'll be happy to help in any way we can.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you soon.
When life gets ugly, justice is lovely. The lovely law firm.
Here are the top 7 facts about the Camp Lejeune Justice Act and how it will help victims of exposure to water contamination. The Camp Lejeune Justice Act provides the opportunity for military and civilian victims to seek recovery for the water contamination, and it grants them due process in the court system. It's not part of the Federal Tort Claims Act. It will not be part of the Federal Tort Claims Act, but it will allow victims of Camp Lejeune water contamination to have a jury trial and seek payment through the court system. It's not a class action suit. These are going to be individual claims. It's also not a VA claim. This is a civil claim to provide compensation for the damage that happened by exposure to this contaminated toxic water at Camp Lejeune. Your time frame to file a claim in this case is going to be victims who worked or lived on the base from 1953 to 1987 for 30 days or more. Now the question we get, do the 30 days have to be consecutive? And no. As long as the time spent on Camp Lejeune adds up to 30 days, you're going to be eligible to file a claim. And perhaps most importantly, how long do you have to file? Victims can file for 2 years from the date of the enactment of the statute that's just been signed.
When life gets ugly, justice is lovely.